The snowstorm is here in the south coast of Massachusetts. Isn't it beautiful right now? A very light, soft, beautiful snow. And it's also a perfect day to stay indoors, watch the Pats, go Pats, and record a podcast. So I thought I'd come on here and do a quick intro to tell you what I plan to talk about, which is, did my sweaters, my wool knit sweaters, survive a snow shower the last time it snowed here? So let me show you what I'm going to be talking to you about today. My pile of sweaters that have sat outside in the snow for their snow bath or snow shower, and have they survived it or not? Let's find out. Well, after standing outside in the snow and coming in now, I have to warm up with a hot cup of tea. Yes, my favorite mug. Yes, my cafe au lait color of choice. Don't judge, I am going to have different colors on this episode. But this is my cozy sweater that I like to wear on a snow day for when I go outside to help shovel the back deck or the front porch. So welcome in. You're joining me here today on a beautiful snow day. I know it's not something that we all look forward to, but when it's as peaceful and beautiful as it is right now, it is a nice day to be home with a hot beverage, hunkered down while the crock pot is going with dinner, which is making the house smell so good. And before we have to get outside, I thought I would spend some time with you to talk about my wool sweaters and how they have survived or not a snow shower or a snow bath. And so we're going to be talking about those. And I also want to do a wrap up of my 2025 works in progress that I haven't spoken about here as a fully finished project. So let's start by saying that if there's going to be some ambient noise, is because my neighbor across the street likes to be the first one out of the gate with a snowblower. So we'll probably hear that soon. And also, I should say, wow, thank you all for the love on my last episode. The one where I'm wearing my lime green ranunculus, and you have all convinced me that green is indeed my color. Hence the green that you can see here. It's something that has been recently purchased after seeing my last episode back and seeing how good the green looks on me. So thank you to everyone that is joining us, that is new, all the new subscribers. The love has been amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so glad to have you here with us. We have been building this community slowly, and it is wonderful to get some new subscribers into our channel. Let me start with the intro, which is really, I shouldn't be doing it that way, right? But I wanted to talk about the snow first. So Yarn Stories with Olivia, this is my channel where I love to talk about my yarn crafting or my love of turning yarn into something wearable. This is episode 33, and today is Sunday, January 25th, 2026. So as the title says, it's Yarn Stories. I love to talk about my yarn makes. And today's topic for discussion is going to be the sweaters and their snow showers, as I've mentioned, but I also want to give an update or a progress update of a finally finished project that didn't show up in the last couple of episodes. Since the last one was mostly about my 12 cast-ons, I want to wrap up some items that I've been talking about previously. In the last episode, I tried really hard to concentrate just on my 12 new cast-ons, and my reason for wanting to do that, I do have several works in progress. If you go on Ravelry, where you can find me as Olivia30, you'll see that all of my works in progress are at the top, and it's not a lot. It's more than some people would have, but for me, it's manageable. I have, I believe, 15 works in progress. So the 12 that I cast on plus 3 or 4 that I had not finished from 2025. Today's episode, I'm going to be showing you 2 finished projects from that whip pile that I had over here next to me. I'm going to show you a little bit of a progress on 2 items, one that's progressing really, really well, and one that unfortunately is going to have to be tinked back. yeah, if you're new to this channel, please be aware that I am a tinker. I will knit if it's not working out right, knit or crochet if it's not coming out right. I have no problem taking it apart and restarting it. Let's start with the sweaters that had their snow shower. I have a couple of pictures. They're not very bright because it was a very dim gray day when I made the decision to take some of my hand knit sweaters and put them outside on the back deck on top of snow. I don't have a video or a photo of all of the sweaters that I put outside. I just grabbed a couple of them. I just realized I'm missing a couple here from my pile. Let me go grab them because those are the ones I want to start with because they were one of my first sweaters that I've knit. Hold on, be right back. How could I forget my first one? So this was the first one that I put outside in the snow, and I was like, all right, let's see if this is going to work. And the first one is the Mycroft by Isabel Kramer. I love this sweater. I've worn it many, many times. And I knit this with Barocco Lanas in the colorway Golden. It actually needs a little bit of a shave because it's been pilling a little bit. And I said, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? If I kill it on the snow, I'll just add it to the camper clothes that I have. Hand knit sweaters when I first started, and they didn't come out too great. So they're in the camper, so I can use it when it's cold, and they're easy wash, and I don't have to worry about shrinking them or any of that stuff. But guess what? It worked beautifully, and I will put the video here of what it looked like in the snow and why I got a little panicked. In the beginning, it was like, all right, it's just a very light snow. And then within minutes, it was covered. And I thought, oh boy. And I didn't bring it in for a while. When I did, I thought when I pulled it out of the snow, it would be frozen. And I wasn't sure what I had just done to my sweaters. But guess what? It worked out beautifully. It is super soft, just like I put it into a wash. And the best part is once I laid it on a towel to dry, because it did get wet from the snow, obviously. It didn't get frozen. It didn't come out like a big piece of cardboard. It actually, I was able to shake the snow out of it, put it on top of a towel near a space heater, and it finished drying up beautifully. And the best part was how good it smelled. It still smells so good. And it's because it gave me that feeling of, you know, when you put your sheets out to dry in the spring, in the summer, if you do a lot of dryer, but then when you hang the clothes outside, how good it smells. That's what this smells like right now. And once I did this one, and this was the first one, and the second one was my, let me put this one here. So yeah, survived very, very well. Let's put that there. The other one that joined its mate outside is another favorite one of mine, and it is the Alenjana, which was my first colorwork sweater. And I used Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca and Rosarius 4 Pio Pardo for the color. For those of you that are new, if you haven't read the intro, I am a native of Portugal. I immigrated to the United States with my parents when I was 9 years old, but I am still very much connected with the Portuguese community. I do visit Portugal quite often, and I love purchasing Portuguese yarn, and I love to promote Portuguese designers. And one of my favorite yarns that I've discovered over the last few years is Rosarius 4 yarn. And when I can get my hands on some, I do like to have a little stash. Some of my boxes here have a lot of Rosarius yarn. The Pio Pardo is very similar to a spin cycle. And yeah, so this, so it's creased from being folded, but another one that came out wonderful from being outside in the snow for some fresh air, with lots of snow on top of it, and it shook off beautifully. And yeah, so that's sweater number 2. That did really well. My third one that I gave a try, and this one didn't get a photo for it, but it's one that I've also had for a long time, and it is my flax This is the flax, and I knit this with Cascade 220, and I believe wine was the color. I might be wrong, but it'll be on my Ravelry page, right? So this is another one that I have worn and worn and worn, and I love and I love, and every time I wear it, I think I gotta make another one, but there's so many others that I want to make. I haven't gotten to it yet, but yeah, like it also needs a good pilling because, you know, it has been worn quite a bit. In fact, this one, from the intro, you will have seen I was wearing a hat. This was the hat that I was wearing. It's the leftover yarn from the sweater. I had enough. I think I still have a little bit more that I plan to make mittens one day, but here it is 5 years later and I still haven't made the mittens. It is the horseshoe cable hat by Minon Jolet on Ravelry as well, and this is my most worn hat. I wear it pretty much every time we go to New York City to go see a Broadway play, which I'll be sharing that story with you towards the end, which I should say, my format has always been to show what I've finished, what I have as a work in progress, which I call my progress report. And then I'll talk about some of the new stuff that I've gotten into my collection, but I also like to add some story time at the end, which today I will have some story to share with you about what's happened in the last couple of weeks in between episodes. And so this hat is going to be mentioned later on again. So that's that. But, and again, just like the other ones, makes me want to take them back outside again today with the way the snow is, but I haven't worn them since I've given them their snow shower. So they're okay. So that's that one. And then I got brave and I thought, I wonder how it would work with merino wool. I already knew the wool worked out fine. The Cascade 220 worked out all right, the superwash. And then I wasn't sure about superwash merino and mohair, but I risked it. I did the same thing. I took this one outside too, and in the snow it went. This is my love note. And for this one, I used Knit Picks Aloft for the mohair with the steel gray needles at the ready yarn. So this one is actually, it's my profile photo. It's my logo photo that you see. I'm wearing this sweater in it. And look, it survived beautifully. It doesn't, I mean, nothing. It had a lot of snow on top of it too. And yeah, once I shook off the snow, brought it in, it's right back to where it was. And again, it just smells like fresh air, like outside, no chemicals, no soapy smell, nothing. It's just fresh air, absolute fresh air. So it works on merino wool and mohair. Snow is great for it as well. And then this one. This is Barocco Remix. It's a remix of various yarns. It's got cotton, it's got merino, it's got nylon in it. This is one of my favorite sweatshirt type sweaters. I made this 2 years ago. This is a Laura Ayler pattern, and it's called A Little Romance. And I use the Barocco Remix in the lighter gray and the darker gray for the cuff and for the pattern on the top, which it's really pretty, this little design. This is a pattern that was super quick and easy to knit, and I highly recommend if you want to give this a try. And yeah, and I did the hem also in the darker color. I knit this while I was in Portugal on vacation in São Miguel in the Azores. That's where I'm originally from the city of Ribeira Grande in São Miguel. And I knit this while I was there, where I sat around in the cafes, and I loved it because it reminds me so much of that place where I grew up, with streets are this whole gray and dark gray for the volcanic rock on the island. So when I wear this one, I wear this with a lot of saudades. I miss being there a lot. And yeah. So a little romance. I've had a little romance with my beloved island of San Miguel. Yeah, I'm gonna smell all of them. Okay, that one. And of course, after the last episode, I decided why not give this one a good wash as well. This one panicked me a little bit because it rained. Actually, the next two that I'm going to show you, it rained on top of the snow, and I forgot that they were outside. By the time I realized, oh no, I better go get them, they were drenched. They were really, really soaking wet. And when I brought it in and I lay it down on the towel, I thought, uh-oh, I've really messed this one up. Yeah, it got to be in the water a little too long. And it is my green ranunculus that I wore in the last episode. After I watched the last episode, I said, I got to go give it a good wash. And I didn't realize that it was going to rain. So I put it on the snow. I'd sprinkle some of the snow on top. And then the rain came and it got drenched. And did it survive that? Yes, it did. Once I gave it a good twist of the water, and I put it on the towel, and it took a little longer to dry than these other ones that it had just a little bit of snow on them. Yeah, it survived beautifully. It's fine. There's nothing, there's nothing that I can say, well, I've really damaged it. Although when I looked at it, it had some spots on it, darker spots throughout, and I thought, oh no. But it couldn't have been any kind of chemical on my deck, because on my deck, I don't have anything. It was just snow. We don't have a dog anymore to worry about shoveling, so we just let the snow stay until it melts. Turns out that it was the pockets where a lot of the water was, because of the snow not being even. So where there was a little dent in the snow, the water pulled there, and it created these little pools of water on top of the sweater. But once it dried, it was fine. But I'll tell you, I got, oh no, what have I done? Especially on this one, because I'd gotten so many compliments on it, and I was convinced that now I'm going to wear it more than once a year. And to see the little darker green splotches on it, I thought I really ruined it. But no, it just needed to dry itself out. So here it is. Perfect. So we'll put this one here too. We'll keep creating a little pile here. And with the green one, I put out another mohair and a merino silk yarn, Wilfreda, that I have. This was a yarn that I had bought in Portugal when I went for the Knit with Friends festival. It's a Spanish yarn, Robledal silk merino, I believe it is. And I used the Knit Picks Aloft with it. And just like the Love Note, it survived beautifully. There are some color variations, but that is the yarn itself. It had nothing to do with being outside. I did not helical knit my skeins of yarn. So the middle skein, one skein is a little lighter than the other, but I was never bothered by it. It worked because the sleeves matched the bottom. So this is not a reflection of the snow shower. This is a reflection of the yarn being two slightly different colorways and my not helical knitting it. But again, another one for the pile as a success to its easy care, low maintenance wash. Got two more to show you. Almost done with this show off here. The other that got its snow bath was the Neona. Let's see how I can do this so you can see the color. It's a dark blue. Neona by Isabel Kramer. And this is a yarn that I picked up in Portugal at Lopo Xavier, the yarn shop there. And it is a sport weight yarn, and it's a yarn that's 100% Portuguese wool, and it's dyed just for their shop. It is called Phoebus yarn. Phoebus in Portuguese, Phoebus in English. And I enjoyed knitting a lot with this yarn, and I love the weight of this sweater as well. And yeah, as you notice, there's a couple of Isabel Kramer sweaters in my wardrobe because I do enjoy knitting her sweaters. Although I am learning that with her sweaters, I should size down for the cast on, and then I can size up for the bust if I need it. But that's going to be a topic for another episode. If you want to hear me talk about my lessons that I've learned in knitting Isabel Kramer patterns, what I like the most about them, what I might differentiate that works for me, for my body type, let me know. Leave me a comment, or let me know if you've knit Isabel Kramer and what tweaks you've made to the pattern, if you've had to make them, because the patterns are very well written, very easy to follow. And yeah, I have a few others in the pipeline from the 12 cast-ons. I've got some, plus a few others that are kitted up over here that eventually will get done as well. But yeah, I'm interested to hear from you if you've done Isabel Kramer patterns. What's been your experience with her designs? And yeah, I pile here. And the last one I'll show you is not a handmade item. It's something that I purchased. It's actually machine made. I'd gone to Ireland in 2018 and I had bought this. It's a poncho. I had bought this as a memento of my trip there. I had planned to make one, but I thought for I think it was 60 American dollars when I bought it. And at the time I said, I'll never buy the yarn for that much, so I might as well buy it here at the shop. And it's this poncho. It's got a cable down the side. On the other side, it's got the same cable. And it's a turtleneck. And I've worn it once since 2018. And the reason why I only wore it once is the one time that I wore it, and I was convinced of this. I was convinced that I was allergic to wool. Hence why I've knit with acrylic for so many years. I thought I was allergic to wool. And I possibly was, and possibly I have grown less sensitive to it because I can wear wool now without any problem. But the one time I wore this, I could not stop sneezing. And it was like, it has to be this garment. And I felt so bad because I really wanted to wear this. And yeah, but I put it away in the closet, so maybe someday I'll give it a try again. Well, when I did this wash, I thought maybe the problem is because I never washed it. I never took care of it. Maybe it came with still the dust from being knit in the machines that made, let me see, who was it that made this? This was actually, yeah, this is a Caradon, an Irish tradition, so it's 100% pure new wool. I'll show you the tag because I'm not sure I can read that correctly. I don't want to mess that up. So when I was doing that, I thought, let me go grab it, throw it outside, let it give it its snow bath, and we'll see what happens. Well, that was the trick. The trick was it needed to be washed and it needed to be aired out. So it's now extra soft. Much more soft than it was before I put it outside in the snow. And I've worn it. I've worn it at work a couple of times because it's been very, very cold here. And the library that I work in is an 1852 building, and we still have 1903 windows without any insulation. And I've got a big window like this right next to my desk. And when it's cold, the wind comes through that window pane quite easily. So I've worn this quite a few times to keep me warm as I'm at work, you know, because it's a poncho, so I'm able to just put it on and still do my typing. And I am thinking how all this time, all I needed to do was wash it. And it's times like this that I realize, boy, as a knitter, there's still so many things that I haven't learned and so much more that I need to learn. So this one is just a show and tell about how if you have some store-bought wool that you've bought on vacation as a memento, put it outside in the snow, let it get wet, let it do its thing, and yeah, it'll be fine. It's going to survive fine. I really wanted to give a shout out to the snow and how wonderful it is as a natural resource to us knitters to use safely in our hand knits, to give them all a good freshening time. And yeah, so every single item here that I've showed you, when I think back how I didn't consider myself a good knitter, and I spent so much time on scarves and socks and hats and cowls, and how I should have been knitting garments a lot sooner. And then I looked through my Ravelry page and I realized that I do have quite a few garments. And then when I look at this pile, I realized, yeah, I do have a few garments that I'm very proud that I've made and that I wear very comfortably. That's the part about the wool sweaters. I hope that was of interest to you, and I hope I encourage you to not be as fearful as I was and do that. I'm going to do a little pause on here so I can rearrange myself so I can talk to you about the rest of the stuff. Okay. Put aside the sweaters for now so I can show you the fully finished projects from the 2025 makes. One of them is the 12th pair of socks for 2025, with the last pair being finished at the beginning of January, but they were cast on December 31st, so it still counts, right? And it is the Buddy colorway socks for my son. These were made with Knit Picks Felice. And I'm showing you Christmas socks, but it's Buddy the Elf colorway. And this was the last batch of Knit Picks Felice yarn that I had. And initially I had planned to make these the Joe Mo socks, which is a pattern by Joe of the Twin Satin Pearl podcast. And I had the cuff done to 15 or 20 rows. It was 20 rows for the cuff. I do my socks 2 at a time, but in tandem. So I had done the cuff for both socks. I had them already in the project bag ready to go to start the pattern, which has a beautiful cable pattern here down the side. I'll put a picture here of what the pattern looks like. And that was my plan, to make that pattern. But then son number 1 decided that he wanted to wear a pair of hand knit socks one day out of the blue. I think you heard the conversation between dad and son number 2 about the hand knit socks, and he decided maybe he should give them a try. So off into the gift box he went, and he pulled off a pair of socks that were in there, tried them on, perfect fit on him. And he wore them on his work day, and he came home and he said, I love them. I don't know why I haven't worn socks before. Or socks that mom made, obviously. And so I asked him if he wanted another pair, and he said yes. He is a big fan of the movie Elf and Buddy. And I showed him the color of the socks that I was working on, and he said yes, he wanted them, and can I make them fast? Well, since he said I want them fast, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do the pattern because the cable took me a little bit longer to count the rows. I decided to just do a plain vanilla sock for him. And that's why I have the cuff a little longer, because that was the pattern I was starting with. And then I just went vanilla. And my older son, he's got a smaller shoe size. So for him, it was a size 8.5, and so I knit up a little bit faster. And I do make them to match. So my 12th pair, and now I've got 3 men in the house who I will say are very knit worthy, and I love that they want to wear my hand knit socks. When this pair was done and on the table for the photo op, son number 2 and dad were wondering, well, who's going to wear those? And when I said, not either of you, it's got its own owner already. And yeah, so after today's podcast, he'll be putting these on, because he asked if he could go outside and help with the snow, but could he take the hand knit socks on his feet, please? So that's the fully finished project, the completion of my 12 socks for 2025. I'm going to, I always have to have a pair of socks on the go. It's my car knitting. It's also my restaurant knitting. But I think this year I'm going to limit myself to 6 pairs, since I've got so many other things that I'm going to work on this year. That's the fully finished project on there. The next one that I want to show you is fully finished. I did wear it. You did see it. And I'm going to flash it at you again. And it is the Christmas Bell by Isabel Kramer. Another Isabel Kramer pattern. When I showed it to you last time when I was wearing it, I hadn't fully blocked it yet. I had just steam blocked it because I wasn't sure how it was going to work in the water. I was afraid of the color, if it would bleed. Here is the Christmas bell that I'm talking about. For those of you that are new, might not have seen it, although I did use it as the thumbnail on a couple of videos, so you will have seen this. All blocked and worn. I wore it to the Moby Dick readathon that I talked about in the last episode. But what I didn't say was that I gave it its bath and it did not bleed one tiny bit. The water was clear, clear, clear. So none of this red ran at all. So the gray and the color work stayed the same. I know on the video it's probably not as clear to see as what I'm seeing here, but the gray is completely gray. There's no pink to it. For anyone worried about, you know, a deep red and the color bleeding, even though I put a color catcher in just to be on the safe side, the color catcher was completely white. And as I said, the water was completely clear and it blocked out beautifully. This is one too that I did this. I was supposed to do the size 4 for the top with a size 5 for the body, but I ended up doing all size 5, and it did come out a little bit bigger on top than I had hoped for. But I think going forward, I'm going to just have to pay more attention. I could have gotten away with this one as a complete size 4 because I do knit very loose on color work. Color work, they always say go up a needle size for color work. For me, I don't need to go up because I'm already a loose knitter on color work. I'm a tighter knitter on regular knit. So yeah, that's just to give you the update on it now being fully blocked and perfection. And I do know that I wore it on January 6th for the readathon, and nobody said, hey, what are you doing wearing a Christmas sweater? It's just a beautiful red sweater. So I'll probably be wearing that a few more times before the season, the cold season is over, because it is a very comfortable sweater to wear. The third item to show you that's finished, just checking around to make sure, is I finished one of the cast-ons from 2025. And this is where I stand by my philosophy that every yarn tells you what it wants to be. It really does. If you're working on something and it's just not coming out right, but you still believe in the yarn, you still believe that you have this yarn because you fell in love with it, you bought it, you want to make something with it, then it's okay to frog it, even if you have to frog it 4 times. That's what I did with this yarn. I have tried 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th version of a cowl or scarf that I've made with the same yarn. I started out, this was for the 12 cast-ons of 2025. This was my cast-on number 2, and I'm pretty sure it's cast-on number 2. I had to check my Ravelry page there to make sure, but yes, this was cast-on number 2. And I am talking about the Advent, the Woodland Wonders Advent that I purchased last year from Craft House Magic Yarns. I love the colors, and I had tried to make one scarf with it, but I didn't like how the fade was working for that scarf, so I frogged it. All of this is going to be on my Ravelry page, so you can go in, and I've left all the pictures of all my attempts. It's all there. So didn't work with the first one. I tackled the second one. The second one was her scarf, which is the Waves cowl that Ellie has. It's one of her patterns, beautiful pattern, and it was working out nicely. And this is it. This is the yarn for this pattern. But then I got a little, let's just say, I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I felt like I'm running out of time because I wanted to give it as a gift to my son's girlfriend, and Christmas was looming, and I thought, I'm never going to finish this. So I thought I was going to be smarter than the Olivia that thought out the plan first. I thought, last minute Olivia for Christmas is going to she has a better idea. So that's what she's going to do. I frogged it, and I decided to do it as a litmus cowl, which was just knitting it in the round, because the yarn was making a beautiful fade. And I should show you at this point what the fade looks like. I won't show you the fully finished project yet, but I'll show you the fade of the yarn, starting with a light pink, and then going into these pinks, and then going into these purples, and into this purple blue. Okay, so see how pretty that looks? It's finished, and I'll show you how it looks when I unroll it soon. And what happened was, because I was doing it as a litmus cowl, I was supposed to do it with a size 5 or 6 needle, because I doubled up the yarn to go faster, right? I want to go faster. I want to use up the yarn, so I want this to go faster. I'm going to double up. This is fingering weight yarn. I'm going to double it up, make it a DK, make it a litmus cowl, but I forgot to adjust the needle size for it. And so if you go back on episode 31 where I talk about this, I had gotten to color number 9, and I didn't like the weight. I didn't like the fabric of the scarf. And I decided to put a gouache to it at that point. Again, tinking back is no big deal for me. So I frogged the whole scarf. I decided to do it as a fingering weight litmus cowl, but thinner, because my son's girlfriend is petite, and to have that bulky litmus cowl thing might be too much for her. So this is the end product, and it came out perfect. So let me unroll it for you. You ready? Let's see how it looks. So it's not exactly, let me go this way, right? I'll go backwards. This was the last color. So this is color, this is day 12. There's 12 days of the Advent here. And they're 20-gram minis, and all just knit in the round. Let me come here so you can see me talking about it. And I just knit away until all of the yarn was done. And this is how it looks now. And I have to update Ravelry. It's now finished. I do have half of it on Ravelry showing it done. So I've made it as a litmus scarf. And let's see if I put it on here. Let's see if it shows. I don't know if it will show really well on here. But she likes these type of scarves where she can roll it around her neck. And these are all her favorite colors. The pinks and the purples. Let me just boost myself up here a little bit without shaking you. And so now I've got the perfect gift for her. And it was just knit, 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 and it worked. And what was good about this, even though, so 1, 2, and 3 colorway has been worked 4 times with the blocking, it looks fine. Although this one has a little bit more extra texture to it. But what was good about this was, this is new to me, it was the first time I've done a Turkish cast on. And I was so proud of how it came out. It really is like a Kitchener. So I started with a Turkish cast on, finished the pink, then the next color, and off I went. So there you go. You can see the color good there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11? Was it 11? I thought I had 12. Let me recount. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I have 11, not 12. I think it's because 12 had started to turn into more of a lighter blue color, and I'll use it for another project. But yeah, that is, I am so happy with this finish, and I know that she's going to love it. And it really was, it's got me thinking I need to make more of these with my minis. So how did I decide to do this one after all of my mess ups? I'll tell you. I watch a lot of podcasts, and I was watching, I do watch some of the Vlogmas, and one of them is Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Craft. Pretty sure it's Hawthorne Cottage Craft. And she'd had an episode with Mammoth Yarns, I believe, and the yarn dyer did an episode with her and was working on a scarf that she called a Doctor Who scarf, a very thin scarf, but she had hers at only 20 stitches, like maybe 40 stitches. Yeah, 20 and 20, so 40 stitches in the round, a very thin scarf. When I saw her show on the podcast, I thought, that's it. That's what I'm going to make with that yarn. I knew right off the bat that was going to be perfect for this yarn, but I didn't want it that thin. So my version is 80 stitches, 40 and 40. I knit magic loop. So I cast it on as, you know, with a Turkish cast on. And then I worked it in the magic loop, 40 and 40 with a size 3 needle. Is it US 3? 3.25 millimeter needle. And that's what I did all the way to the end. And then I did a Kitchener stitch at the end to match the Turkish cast on. And it's perfect. So now that I've shown it to you and now that it's a fully finished project, I'm going to take photos of it, and maybe if I can get outside. Nah, it's still snowing too much and it doesn't need a snow bath. I'm going to have to wait until the snow stops, and I'll lay it on the snow to make it look pretty with a white background. So that is the finished project of so of the 12 cast-ons 2025, I only have 2 more to go. Yeah. All right. What else do I have to show you now? Now this is the part where I have to talk about, well, I'm going to do the easy one first, okay? One of the things that I'm going to be working on after I finish recording, because I'm going to go watch the game with my husband, is I'm working on the Patriots colorway, New England Patriots colorway Musselburgh hat. I haven't gotten too far with it. This is where it is. So it's at just a knit. So this is my knitting for this afternoon, is the Musselburgh. This is the only thing I'm planning to work on today, so it should be finished by the next time I sit down to have a chat with you. And the other that has been getting some love over the last couple of nights is the Lento, which this is where it's at. I think I've got about 3 more inches to go on the body, and then I can do the hem, and then I'll pick up the sleeve. So this is one too that I plan to have finished by the next time I sit down and have a chat with you. And for this Lento, I am using these 2 yarns that I've got in this basket. Is Pink House Knits hand-dyed yarn in the colorway Hydrangea. 2023 is when I bought this from her at a local farmer's market. She's a local to me hand dyer. And I've combined it with this Alana Grossa silk mohair in a periwinkle color. And these 2 colors together are working up beautifully, and it's giving me this very soft, lightweight Lento. And I am not allergic to mohair, which was another thing that I thought I was many years ago, and I am not. And it's a very comfortable yarn around my neck, and I can wear it without any irritation to my skin. So this one will be finished too. I know it's looking kind of small. It's looking like it's not going to fit me, but I did test it on. I did do a test fit, and it does fit. It's just it's because of the needles. And yeah, this one is going to work out really nice. So those are the 2 progresses that I wanted to share with you from the 12 cast-ons. And now let me show you the issue of the other one and why I don't have more progress from the other makes I cast on. The one that I got carried away with, and I did it, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. And yes, it's brown, is the Forest Land. I have finished the color work on the Forest Land. I'm at the point now where I was going to head off to split sleeve separation. I don't want this to detract from it. I'm at the point where, yeah, sleeve separation was coming next. The complete chart is done. Look at how nice that came out. The pattern is, this color work pattern is beautiful. And before I did the sleeve separation, I said, well, let me just verify with my little chart here that I have the right amount of stitches on the needles. And what happened was I have the right amount of stitches after here. Yeah, pretty much here is the right amount of stitches. Everything that's on here, Olivia went into autopilot. Olivia started to knit the color work, loving the chart, following the chart beautifully, feeling so accomplished, but totally missing the rows that have the make one left for increases. So Olivia's about 40 stitches shy of where she needs to be for sleeve separation. And there's no way it's going to fit at where it's at, because there's no way I'm a small. So I have to take this all back. I have to take it back. I am going to put in a lifeline, and I'm going to take it back to where I'm supposed to be, where I had a match to the pattern, and then go back and redo the color work. So this one went into a timeout. I really thought I was going to have this one finished because I was so happy with how I'd gotten through the color work so fast. But so for those of you that are new, I am very open about my mistakes. I watch a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them will only talk about how they started, they ended it, and how much they loved it, and how great the designer is and the pattern is. This has got nothing to do with the designer or the pattern. This has got to do with me as a knitter and my progress through this journey of knitting. I have no shame in saying that I messed up. I will always be honest, because these recordings are for me to also have in the future. So when I look back on my progress as a knitter, I can see where I went awry and how I fixed it. For many years, I've been knitting for over 23 years now. I started knitting in 2003 was the first time I sat in for a knit lesson at the library, and I started with just knitting a scarf. I've always thought I'm not that good of a knitter, and I didn't know enough about yarns and patterns, but I am finding that now through this channel, which is why I am so happy with myself for doing this, as nerve-wracking as it was in the beginning to start, that when I now have this forum of a discussion, even though you're not here with me recording and talking to you, I feel like, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. And I know there's others on the other side that are going through the same journey as I am. So I'm just going to be honest. I want to feel like we are sitting in a knitting group somewhere, even though it's just me alone here in my room. But I know you're there. And I've heard from some of my channel followers that that's how it feels. And this is a good opportunity for me to say, hello, Rosemary. I was at Skein Yarn Shop yesterday, and Rosemary, who's been a subscriber and a follower of the channel from the get-go, she lives here in Massachusetts, about an hour away from me. She made the trek out to Skein Yarn Shop yesterday to sit with me and knit and to meet in person. And she let me know that it does feel like when she's sitting, listening to me talk about my knits, she feels like we're together knitting, which really warms my heart, because that's been my goal, to have something that my community, my friends here would enjoy, because, you know, my social friends, oh, Olivia's knitting again. Oh, Olivia's got yarn again. And it doesn't really mean anything to them. So, okay, I kind of digress there, but just because I wanted to share that. All of the new followers, you know, I don't expect you to go back and listen to everything that I've talked about over the last few years. And at some point, I'll probably do another re-intro video of myself. Also, video number 2, at the end, I have a segment where I speak in Portuguese for my Portuguese followers. I do have quite a few subscribers that are from Portugal or Portuguese speaking. And I do hope to someday get back to redoing that. Probably, since my next episode will be my podiversary episode, my 2-year podiversary, which will be February. Oh, I can't believe it's been 2 years already. I'll probably use that episode as an opportunity to do a little more bilingual than I've had in recent episodes. So enough about that. Well, this one's gonna get some attention soon too. What else do I have left that I wanted to talk to you about so that we can wrap this thing up, because the game is about to start? I've got everything on my list done, except for the last thing that I want to do is I'm going to have to put you on pause here, because I have to go get it, because it's all the way over there in the podcast basket. Be right back. It's in this bag. So this would have been my 12th cast on that I showed in the last episode. And honestly, when I started to plan out my projects I really hadn't made the connection how many of them were browns and blues. I just knew I wanted to knit those projects, and I knew that I wanted to use up yarn that I had already caked up. And one of the yarns that I already had caked up was this Hawthorne, Knit Picks Hawthorne in Fawn colorway yarn. And I had gone sidetracked, right? I said that I'd watched Nancy Wheeler of Knit Sip Happy and how she had cast on this top, and it is the gingerbread sweater, and I wanted to do it as well. And this is what it looks like, and it is working up. It was working up really nicely. And when I went through my stash, I saw that I thought I had 4 skeins of the Hawthorne, but I actually only had 3. So it wouldn't be enough to do this sweater. But it is enough to do another gingerbread sweater, which I had initially planned for that yarn. And I'll show you what it is. It is the gingerbread sweater by Espace Tricot. That's what I was going to use that yarn for, along with Knit Picks Aloft. And I've decided that I am going to frog that, because I don't have enough yarn for it, and because I'm going to go back to what I had intended for it. So you're not going to see this gingerbread in this version, in this colorway. But I'm not giving up on it, because you all were so nice to say how great I look in green. I decided that I'm going to make the gingerbread in green, because just because it's gingerbread doesn't mean that I have to do it in a brown color, right? I mean, when I saw Nancy's and in a beautiful blue, I thought, why am I stuck on the brown? And then I remembered I had this beautiful green that I purchased recently as a treat to myself for the yearly medical exam. And I bought this at KG Crafts in Fall River, Massachusetts, and it's a new yarn to Karen's shop. And I thought, I'm going to make that gingerbread is with this green, because you all told me I look good in green. So I have to. I'm not going to put this aside. I am going to make the gingerbread in this green. And then what did I do? I decided, which I said earlier, I told you I was going to show you, Miss Babs was having a clearance sale. And there was 3 skeins left in this yarn. And it's still in the back. So I picked up this green, and it is, I should have planned this better, taking it out of the bag before I started to talk to you about this, right? There was 3 skeins left in the lot. It was on clearance, and it is Crocodile Smile. And this is the Miss Babs Yet, which is heavy lace yarn. So it's not exactly mohair, but it is a lace yarn. And I've decided that these 2 are going to work beautifully for a gingerbread. I know that this is looking a little yellow right now because of the light, the way it is, and the ring light that I have above here. But from here, from my view, this is going to work out beautifully. So the brown is going to get tinked to be made into the real gingerbread that initially I had planned for it. And then this is going to be the new gingerbread. I will probably wait to cast this one on until I finish the Lento and maybe a couple of others. But I just wanted to thank you all for all the love on the green and for inspiring me, because I've heard back from viewers that I have inspired them with projects, and they've put things into their Ravelry queue or in their library from what they have seen me do. And honestly, you all have really inspired me on this too, and given me the confidence to try the colors. So if you are a lover of green, as I am now becoming, if you have made it this far in the podcast, if you haven't left me a comment because I haven't asked you the right question, or there's something that I haven't inspired you to comment on, leave me a green heart here at the end, and I'm going to know I'm on the right track with this green. I really do appreciate the feedback from you all as well. So it's Olivia from the future. I had to get on here because I was having dinner with my husband, replaying what I had talked about in the recording. I realized that I left out a piece that I wanted to include. Let me tell you about this hat that I said that I was going to talk about at the end of the episode. This is a hat that I made for myself when we went to New York to go see a Broadway play 3 years ago today. Today is January 25th, and it's my dad's birthday, heavenly birthday. He would be 92 today. And over the last few years, every January around this time of year, when it falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, we go to New York to see a Broadway show. This year it fell on the long weekend of Martin Luther King weekend. So we were there on Sunday, last Sunday, 7 days ago today. And we're so glad that we chose last Sunday to go instead of today because, yeah, a snowstorm, we wouldn't be seeing a 7 p.m. show in New York today. What we saw last week was the Book of Mormon, and we loved it. It is something that we have seen before here at the Providence Performing Arts Center, which is a huge theater, and we had the last row seats, so we were very far away from the stage. And I've always said that I wanted to go and watch that play on Broadway, where the theaters are a little smaller, it's a little bit more intimate, and you're almost there on stage with the actors. The show was phenomenal. Loved every minute of it. For anybody who hasn't seen it, just be aware that it's not exactly a child-friendly show in terms of language. But if you are okay with raunchy humor, it is definitely a worthwhile show to see. The chorus, the music is fantastic. The comedic timing is amazing. And the show that we just caught, the two leads, that is their Broadway debut, which is amazing to me. They were fantastic, and reading that it was their first show really, really blows my mind. As you have seen from today's episode, this is 2 weeks past the last one. That is my hope, to try to record every 2 weeks and try to put a little bit here at the end about what our adventures are, or what I've been up to when I'm not knitting or crocheting. But yeah, so that's what it was. Last weekend was a New York City visit. We drive in. It's about a 4-hour drive for us. We drive in. There's a garage close by to a hotel that we stay at, which is close to Broadway. We go. We have a lovely dinner this year. We went to go eat at Virgil's, which was fantastic. The food was amazing. The best mac and cheese I've had in a long, long time. Don't laugh that I went to New York City to have mac and cheese. I'm a very picky eater. Yeah, I tend to eat more towards the vegetarian side when I'm out eating, because I only trust meats cooked by me. Speaking of which, why I had to take my break and go eat was because the house was smelling phenomenal. I made carne guisada, San Miguel style, Azorian style. My mother's recipe. My mother would always do it in the pot over the stove. I am more Americanized, and I think she would approve, because I just threw all of the ingredients into the crock pot and I've let it cook slowly throughout the day, leaving the meat very tender. And I put the potatoes in afterwards, so they're nice and soft and just right. And yeah, we just had a phenomenal dinner. The house not only smells good, but we're nice and warm from the tasty food. And I am so grateful that I still have some of my mother's recipes in my head, and I'm still able to cook like she did. And yeah, that was tonight's dinner. The boys are gobbling up their plates right now. I don't think there's going to be a leftovers for tomorrow. It is a snow day for us. None of us are working tomorrow. So I'll have to come up with something for us to eat tomorrow as well. The crock pot is going to have another trip out onto the kitchen counter. If everything goes according to plan, I should be back on here in 2 weeks, which will be around the 6th or the 7th, which is my podiversary. And I hope to see you all then. All right, go chat with Olivia from the past. Okay? Bye. And I think with all of that, it's a wrap. I hope I still have you all here with me. I hope you're all safe. And if you were part of the group across the U.S. that have been part of the snowstorm, I hope you're all safe and warm. And I do know that there's been cold weather over in Portugal as well. I hope you're all doing okay over there. And yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't been called out yet to help. It doesn't even sound like the neighbor with the snowblower is outside yet, which is surprising because it is coming, snow is coming down pretty well. I'm going to take a photo or a video of what's it looking like outside, and I'll put it here at the end for you to give you a sense of what's happening out there. I don't have any Gary sighting for you today because he is sleeping so comfortably over there in the other chair. Thank you to all of you who always give a little shout out to Gary. Gary is my rescue cat that I adopted 3 years ago. It's almost 3 years ago. And he is very much a sidekick on this podcast. Some podcasts have two people talking. I tend to have Gary, who sometimes I take a little pause here and I have to talk to him so that I can get I can get going with what I'm saying here. I think that's all I have. So for now, I'm going to say until next time, até a próxima. Thank you for watching. Obrigada. Ciao. Perfect silence out here today.